You just hit $10,000 in savings for the first time in your life. It took you 3 years of grinding, 3 years of saying no to friends, 3 years of anxiety every time your car made a weird noise. You check your bank account and see that number, $10,000. And honestly, you feel kind of disappointed. Because at this rate, getting to $50,000 is going to take you 15 more years. Getting to $100,000, 30 years, you'll be in your 50s. Here's what nobody tells you. Your second $10,000 won't take 3 years. It'll take 9 months. Your third $10,000, 6 months. By the time you hit $50,000, you'll be adding $10,000 every 3 months. This isn't motivational nonsense. This is pure mathematics. And once you understand why this acceleration happens, you'll never look at wealth building the same way again. You're not bad with money. You're not undisciplined. You've just been operating below the breaking point where money starts working for you instead of against you. My name is Alex, and this is Milestone Money. If you're tired of generic financial advice that ignores the mathematical reality of building wealth from zero, hit subscribe. Because on this channel, we decode the exact numbers where everything changes. Everyone tells you to save money, build an emergency fund, invest for the future, but nobody explains the acceleration formula. Nobody tells you that wealth building isn't linear, it's exponential. And there are specific mathematical thresholds where your money suddenly starts multiplying faster than you can manually save it. The first $10,000 is pure labor. You trade your time and sacrifice for every single dollar. But after $10,000, you unlock 3 accelerators that compound on top of each other. Psychology, access, and mathematics. And here's what makes me angry. The entire financial system is designed to keep you below this threshold. Because once you cross it, you stop being profitable to the institutions that make billions keeping people broke. Let me show you the math nobody wants you to see. When you have $0 saved, here's what your financial life actually costs you. Your bank account drops to $12 3 days before payday. You overdraft buying gas. That's a $35 fee. You need new work shoes. You can't buy the $120 pair that lasts 2 years. You buy the $45 pair that falls apart in 6 months. You'll buy them 3 times in 2 years. That's $135 instead of $120. This is the Boots theory of economics. The poor person pays more for the same thing. Your car needs a $600 repair. You don't have $600. So you put it on a credit card at 24% interest. You pay the minimum for 6 months. That $600 repair costs you $742. A study from the Federal Reserve found that 40% of Americans can't cover a $400 emergency without borrowing or selling something. 40%, that's not a personal failure. That's a system designed to extract wealth from people who don't have cushion. Let me break down your actual costs. Banking penalties. Between overdraft fees, low balance fees, and ATM fees, the average person below $10,000 in savings pays $300 per year just to access their own money. Credit card interest. Without savings, emergencies go on credit cards. At 24% APR on an average revolving balance of $2,500, you're paying $600 per year in interest. Not paying down debt, just interest. The inability to buy in bulk, a 24-pack of toilet paper at Costco costs $24. That's $1 per roll. But you don't have a Costco membership because you can't afford the $60 upfront cost. And you can't buy 24 rolls at once because you need that $24 for gas. So you buy the 4-pack at the corner store for $6. That's $1.50 per roll. Over a year, your family uses 100 rolls. At $1.50 per roll, you pay $150. The person with savings pays $100. You paid $50 more for the exact same toilet paper. Multiply this across groceries, household items, and bulk purchasing. You're paying an extra $800 per year. Car insurance. Without savings, you can't pay the 6-month premium up front, so you pay monthly. That's a $15 per month fee. Times 12 months, you pay $180 per year extra for the same coverage. Emergency markup costs. Your phone screen cracks. With savings, you take it to a repair shop and pay $80. Without savings, you can't go 3 days without a phone. You go to the mall kiosk and pay $150 for same-day service. Late fees and disconnection fees. You're $40 short on rent. That's a $75 late fee. Your internet gets disconnected. That's a $50 reconnection fee. These happen 2 times per year when you're living at the edge. That's $250. Here's what this actually costs you. Banking penalties, $300. Credit card interest, $600. Bulk purchasing penalty, $800. Insurance monthly fee penalty, $180. Emergency markup, $140. Late fees and reconnections, $250. Total, $2,270 per year. You're paying $2,270 per year just for being below the $10,000 threshold. That's not including the opportunity cost. The raises you don't negotiate for because you're terrified of losing your job. The business idea you can't start because you need every paycheck. The career pivot you can't make because you can't afford 3 months of reduced income during the transition. A study from Princeton University found that financial scarcity actually reduces cognitive function by 13 IQ points. You're literally making worse decisions because your brain is consumed with survival. But the money is only part of the equation. Here's what actually happens to your life when you cross this threshold. Picture this. You're at work. Your boss calls you into his office. He's been increasingly hostile for months, micromanaging, undermining you in meetings, making passive-aggressive comments. He closes the door. When you have zero savings, here's what runs through your head. Panic. Because if he fires you, you're destroyed. You can't pay rent next month. Your car payment bounces. Your credit score tanks. You spiral. So you take it. Whatever he says. Whatever he demands. You apologize for things that aren't your fault. You work late without overtime. You accept impossible deadlines. You have no leverage. And he knows it. Now picture the same scenario with $10,000 in the bank. He closes the door. Same hostile energy. But something is different inside you. Because you have walking away money. You can quit today and survive for 3 months while you find something better. He can't threaten you anymore. His power over you evaporates. You don't necessarily quit. But the option changes everything. You negotiate from a position of strength instead of desperation. Research from the University of California found that employees with 3 months of expenses saved negotiate 18% higher salaries on average. Not because they're better negotiators, because they can afford to walk away from lowball offers. Here's another scenario. You're at the grocery store. You need food for the week. You have $47 in your checking account until Friday. Without savings, you do the mental math on every item. Chicken thighs instead of chicken breast because it's $2 cheaper. The dented can of beans because it's on clearance. Store brand cereal. You get to the register with $43 worth of groceries, and you're stressed the entire time that you miscalculated. With $10,000 saved, you buy the food you actually want. You're not splurging on lobster. But you're not doing anxiety math in aisle 7. You buy the chicken breast. You buy fresh vegetables instead of canned. You walk out of the store with energy instead of cortisol. The neuroscience here is crucial. When you're in financial scarcity, your brain produces excess cortisol. This is the stress hormone. Chronic elevated cortisol shrinks the hippocampus. That's the part of your brain responsible for decision-making and memory. You are literally damaging your brain by operating in constant financial stress. But when you cross $10,000, something shifts. You're still working. You're still budgeting. But decisions become effortless. You're not negotiating with yourself about a $4 coffee. You're focusing your mental energy on things that actually matter. Career moves, relationships, health, learning. This is walking away money. This is breaking point capital. This is the threshold where you stop being a hostage to your circumstances. But the system doesn't want you to get here. Here's what makes me genuinely angry about this. Banks made $11 billion in overdraft fees last year. $11 billion. Who pays overdraft fees? Not people with $10,000 in savings. People living paycheck to paycheck. People who are $8 short on their account when autopay hits. The banks have designed a system that extracts maximum profit from people with the least ability to pay. And it gets worse. Credit card companies use risk-based pricing. If you have low savings and a low credit score, they charge you 24% interest. If you have high savings and a high credit score, they charge you 14% interest. You are paying 10 percentage points more for the same piece of plastic. And the reason you have a low credit score? Because you couldn't afford to pay off your balance when you had that $600 car emergency 2 years ago. The system punishes you for being poor. Then it charges you more money for the punishment. Then it uses that data to justify charging you even more. This is a mathematical moat designed to keep you trapped. Landlords do the same thing. 2 identical apartments, same building, same square footage. Person with $10,000 saved, first month, last month security deposit. They move in. Total upfront cost, $4,500. Person with 0 saved, first month, last month, security deposit, plus an extra half-month deposit because their credit score is below 650, plus a $50 application fee, plus a $200 co-signer fee. Total upfront cost, $250. They pay $750 more for the exact same apartment. This isn't accidental. This is designed to keep you stuck below the threshold. Every institution in America makes more money when you're desperate than when you're stable. So how do you break through when the entire system is against you? Most financial gurus say just save more and spend less. That's wrong. You can't outdiscipline a rigged system. You need to understand the acceleration formula and weaponize it. Here's the condensed roadmap that gets you from 0 to $10,000 in 12 months. Not 3 years, 12 months. Phase 1, emergency. Stop the bleeding. First 60 days. Target $1,000 in a separate savings account. Why this number? Because $1,000 covers 80% of financial emergencies. Flat tire, urgent care visit, phone repair. This removes you from the overdraft fee trap immediately. Action 1. Sell something, anything. Facebook Marketplace, old electronics, furniture you don't use, clothes. Get $300 fast. This isn't your lifestyle. This is a sprint. Action 2. Cut one major expense for 60 days. Not forever. 60 days. Cancel the $70 streaming bundle. Meal prep instead of takeout. This isn't about deprivation. This is about velocity. Expected result? You hit $1,000 in 8 weeks. You've eliminated $300 in annual overdraft fees. That money now flows toward your next goal instead of bank profits. Phase 2, eliminate the penalties. Next 4 months. Target, $3,500 total saved. This is where you kill the broke tax. You've stopped bleeding from overdrafts. Now you eliminate the credit card interest trap. Identify your highest broke tax category. For most people, it's credit card interest. You're paying $600 per year on revolving debt. Here's what you do. You take every dollar from phase 1, the money that was going to overdraft fees, the money you freed up from cutting that major expense. You redirect it to your highest interest credit card. Expected monthly savings unlocked. $150 that was going to interest payments. By month 6, you've paid off the credit card. You freed up $150 per month. That's what $1,800 per year that was disappearing into interest. Now it stays in your pocket. Phase 3, hit the milestone. Final 6 months, target $10,000. Here's the math. You're saving $500 per month from eliminating penalties and expenses. You get a tax refund in April, $200. You pick up 1 extra shift per week or 1 freelance project per month. That's $400 additional. Month by month, month 7, $4,000 saved. Month 8, $4,900. Month 9, $500 to $800. Month 10, $600 to $700. Month 11, $7,600. Month 12, $10,000. Around month 8, you'll feel the shift. You'll stop checking your account balance before buying gas. You'll start thinking about opportunities instead of survival. And here's the beautiful part. This skill compounds. Getting from $0 to $10,000 teaches you wealth mechanics. You've learned to redirect penalties. You've learned to increase income. You've learned to operate in delayed gratification mode. Your second $10,000 doesn't require the same sacrifice because you're no longer paying the broke tax. That $2,270 per year, it's now flowing into savings automatically. Plus, you can now buy in bulk. That saves you $800 per year. You can pay insurance annually. That saves you $180. You negotiate a 10% raise because you have walking away power. That's $4,000 more per year. $10,000 becomes $20,000 in 9 months. $20,000 becomes $30,000 in 6 months. By the time you hit $50,000, you're adding $10,000 every quarter. This is the acceleration formula. And when you get there, this isn't easy. It requires sacrifice. You're going to miss nights out with friends. You're going to drive your current car longer than you want. You're going to say no to things that feel important in the moment. But here's what you need to understand. 5 years from now, you won't remember the streaming services you canceled in month 2. You won't remember the extra shifts you picked up in month 9. But you will remember the moment you checked your account and saw $10,000 for the first time. You will remember the first time you negotiated a raise from a position of power instead of desperation. You're no longer someone who can't handle emergencies. You're now someone who has a funded emergency system. You're no longer someone who gets trapped by circumstances. You're now someone who has options. You're no longer someone paying the broke tax to a system designed to extract your wealth. You're now someone who has broken through the mathematical moat. If this clicked for you, subscribe and turn on notifications. Because next week, I'm breaking down the $50,000 threshold and why that number unlocks index fund velocity that most people never reach. Send this video to one person. Someone who's grinding toward their first $10,000 and needs to know it gets easier. Not in some vague motivational way, in a pure mathematical way. Drop a comment with where you are in your journey. $0 to $10,000. $10,000 to $50,000. Already past it. This community is built on people sharing real numbers and real progress. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.